Hey guys, Phoenix Spring Tarot. So this is a quick reading looking into the recent drone situation. People around the world, but particularly in New Jersey, have been reporting seeing strange, what they're describing as drones, shimmering anomalies. They've been saying it's coming out of the oceans, it's on the landscape. They've described them as glowing lights and portals that are the size of mini cars, they're saying. They're saying that the way they look on your iPhone doesn't do it any justice. Trust me, I am sure iPhone and I'm sure other Android devices are making lots of notes, and in the new upgrade, they'll be working that out, I am sure. So that's where we are. So we're just going to be looking into this as to what is this? Is this really an alien invasion? People have talked about these portals coming out of the sea and they're everywhere. So is this an alien invasion, or is this something else? Like Project Bluebeam has been talked about. And for those who don't know, who are unfamiliar, Project Bluebeam is a theory that dates back decades, and Charlie Kirk was coming out talking about this Project Bluebeam. And what it suggests is the use of holographic technology, or the use of a way to stage a global event with the idea of manipulating the masses, to bring them back under control, to introduce a new world order. So that's what this Project Bluebeam is all about. And as I say this like, oh God, I can't remember the name of this, but it's blue, and it's just been catching my attention as I'm mentioning that, so that's quite interesting. We look into that. Also, the Vatican, and I'll do a separate reading on this, they are meant to be in the Christmas period opening, like every 25 years, it's their tradition to open 4 doors at the Vatican. Why they're opening these doors, I do not know, but it's part of their practice. And this year they're breaking with tradition and they're opening a 5th door. And this 5th door is meant to be a Roman prison. And when the Pope said that he's opening this door because it was a prison, he wants to give people who are imprisoned hope for the future, hope to heal and to consider their wrongs and forgiveness for their wrongs. So they're opening this 5th door, which they're referring to as a portal, over the Christmas period, and then they'll seal it up in the new year. So that's another thing, but that's a whole other reading which I'm going to be doing. But it's interesting that as we're seeing these drones, we have the Vatican doing its portal work. And to open 5th port, 5, from a numerology perspective, 5 is really interesting because 5 talks about change, and it also talks about challenge. It talks about, especially in tarot, it talks about going through a period of difficulty, going through a period that's really, really uncomfortable. And from that period of difficulty, it's meant to propel you. It's meant to give you wisdom. So periods of difficulty is meant to give you wisdom. It's meant to bring about change, to move you forward, right? So, but overall 5s are challenges, difficulties, and change. So it's interesting that they're using, whereas 4s is stability, okay? So it's interesting that this year they're looking to break with tradition and open this portal. Okay, so Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels of the highest light and the highest divine frequency, please protect myself, please protect and bless those viewing this reading. May we only channel messages of the highest divine light, from the highest divine light. May we only channel messages of the highest truth, of the highest accuracy, of the highest nuance into this situation. What are we not seeing? May we channel messages as well for the general awakening and the elevation of the conscious collective. Of the collective and awareness. Okay. So what is this? What are these drones? I am getting that alien activity is around and aliens are coming. So a couple of things can be true at the same time. Yes, aliens are coming and they're coming through, but I don't get this, and they're amongst us. I think the last reading I did, they are amongst us. However, I'm not viewing this as them per se. We have the Devil, we have the Hierophant, we have the Knight of Wands. Interesting, this is the third time really I'm attempting this reading, because what I got in the first reading was just so wild, I just thought I had to do this again. I think that there, you know, we were talking about the Vatican, and it's interesting that we have in this card, the Hierophant represents the Pope. So with and having keys, and the keys to something. Like he's the go-to person for something, and we have that. We have two central figures here, almost as if they're working together. We have that of the devil. Talking about control, talking about people being chained. And in the context of this reading as well, it's instilling fear amongst people to have them chained and controlled. And it's a man-made authority, because that's coming up. It's a man-made authority figure that's coming up doing that. Knight of Wands, okay. I'm not getting, oh, right. Five of Wands. Oh my God, yeah. All right. This jumped out reverse over here. Can you guys see everything? Yes. All right. Okay, so here's the deal. Two things could be true at once. Like aliens are coming, that is coming, everything else. What is it? Is it a first visitation or something along those lines, or making their presence known? The term has escaped me. That is coming. However, I don't feel that this is that. I feel that people, whether it's people behind the veil or people who are actually in control, know what this is. I feel that whether it's Project Bluebeam, I don't know whether that's the appropriate term here, but I do feel that with this tower, this has come up all of a sudden, right? It's come out of nowhere. It's really instilling a lot. It's like the last thing that people expected around Christmas, to be fair. It has a lot of people looking at the sky, like these are a dog and a wolf howling at the moon. So this sudden change has people looking at the sky. We have the sun and the moon. So you're seeing something, but it's hidden. So you're unsure what you're seeing, which is causing confusion from people on the ground. But we have this next to a pillar, or next to two pillars. And these two pillars are talking about a portal. Here we have the high priestess, the Hierophant, sorry, with those two portals as well. We have two people here, two portals. Not two portals, sorry, a portal. And while we are all being distracted by what we're seeing in the sky, and notice these little flakes. Let me put this so you could see it. Notice these little gold flakes in the sky. Notice here we're having gold flakes in the sky, looking like drones, right? So while we are being distracted by what's happened and this sudden change, there is something nefarious behind this change. And with this coming next to the Hierophant, I believe it's man-made and orchestrated, is the energy that I'm pulling up here. And I feel that while we are all in fear as to what this is, and what's to come is another term I'm being told, notice what's coming out of the water here. Like they're being distracted and something else is happening. We are being distracted and something is happening in the background. We have the Knight, we have Five of Wands, like infighting and people infighting with one another. Now this has come through reverse. This is a change from when I did the reading yesterday, because when I did the reading yesterday, this was upright. Now, the thing is, if it was taken reverse, I would have said that, hang on, let me describe this. We have two knights. Knights talk about movement, they talk about action, and these two knights are more or less running in the direction of this. What this is saying is, oh God, we have, yeah, two knights and a five. I feel like this is, Let me get some more energies, guys. This is not good, but I'm not picking up alien per se. Below the deck, we have the Three of Pentacles. It's almost as if people have worked to concoct this, but is that correct? Spirit guides, guardian angels, is that correct? Is this man-made? Is that correct? So that was a yes or no question. We have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups usually refers to yes. Queen of Wands in the context of this reading is talking about truth, particularly with the black cat sitting front and center. I feel like the idea here is to get a lot of people fearful, a lot of people worried about things. Like someone wanting to gain control over someone in a situation. People putting up their defenses, people's minds and anxiety going into overdrive. People being blind and disoriented and feeling helpless. It's like that's whatever this energy is, that's the purpose and intention of it. Because in these two rows, we're getting a lot of fives actually, talking about it. So remember what I said at the beginning about the fives. We have Five of Cups, Five of Swords. Oh my gosh, look at this. The Hierophant is the five. What did I say at the beginning, guys? My cards do not lie. Things could be up to how you interpret the cards, but the cards don't lie. And we have the Five here of Wands. So it's like as if my guides are talking about the challenges, talking about the change. It's like someone forcing a change. Or, yeah, there are lots of fives on the board. It's like forcing a change, forcing that challenge, purposely bringing and introducing that challenge to us. And I feel in my other reading, there was certain bits missing from my other reading that I didn't have clarity on. And I think this provides the clarity for that other reading. So I'm going to put this as version 1. And I'm going to put my other reading, I'm going to upload that other reading as version 2. And I will try to cut it to show where the reading actually starts. And you would see why. Because in version 2 of my reading, I was talking about timelines and splintering of timelines. And I didn't understand why I was seeing that. But this clarifies it. Yep, Wheel of Fortune. It's as if society, we are on the brink of a choice as to which road we go down. And that's where I was getting the timeline splintering when it comes to this. And this is what I didn't mention in the other reading. Wheel of Fortune here, like you could go either way. Society is on the precipice of a choice. In terms of, by these events, are we going to fall for a new man-made world order that they're trying to introduce? Or are we going to rise above it? And in us deciding to collectively repel this new world order and rise above it, we go through as a society a great collective awakening. So in my previous reading, I was seeing a lot of twos and twos and twos and twos. But overall, that two that I was seeing in the other reading, version 2, represented the choice. We needed to make a choice. And here's the Wheel of Fortune talking about that choice. Again, like sometimes the choice is outside our control, but the universe is saying to us in the context of this reading, no, we do have a choice in this, of holding the government to account, of holding whoever it is wanting to introduce this, holding them to account and saying, oi, we're not falling for this, sort this out, give us the answer, either we shoot it down or whatever, figure it out, but we are not falling into fear when it comes to this. Okay, I'm going to keep this short because I would notice we have a Judgment, people rising up or something coming up from the ethers, Page and the Magician. This is the thing, the Magician is coming up next to the 5. That's not a good position for it. And we have the 2 of Pentacles. So the 2, remember I was just talking about 2? I was just talking about 2 and the choice. Like this too is talking, look at the rough waters in the background, is creating that instability. He's on one foot and he's juggling, like it's destabilizing you. And this too has come up next to the 3 of Swords, has come up next to the Knight of Swords. So it's talking about making you, with this Knight of Swords, this Knight talks about somebody acting in haste, rushing to judgment. And the Knight is rushing to the 3. So it's rushing to the worst case scenario, it's rushing to be disheartened, it's rushing to distrust. And the action of doing that puts people on the back foot. Like, no one expected this around Christmas time. People are just expecting to wind down for Christmas. 2024 has been a hell of a year. Let's wind down with our loved ones, etc., etc. And then we see all this mess in the sky. Like, for goodness sake. You know, so it's a destabilizing effect. And it's talking about people rushing to, jumping to conclusions. But we have a choice of that, whether we, you know, with the Magician, and that's the thing with the Magician, Magician here is talking about some form of trickery. It's talking about trying to make something seem like it's one way when it's not, or using something that's happening and misrepresenting it or twisting it a little bit for your own purposes. Like, yeah, and we have the Judgment. And in the other reading I did, Judgment came through quite strongly as well. Okay, so what are these drones? So how are they doing it with these drones? How are they doing it with these drones? King of Swords, somebody's going to come forward to explain this. When is the inauguration? Hermit. There is something about some news coming out, but it's as if this news that's going to come out next to the Judgment, it's like it's going to be timed around an event that should be a celebration. So I am wondering whether and this event, 3 weeks, 3 months, but they're not giving me a clear answer on that. They're saying it's in the second version. Okay, let me just leave that for a moment. There's another question I want to ask. Let's see if this answers it. Oh gosh, that question has slipped out my head. What technology are they using for these drones? If it's man-made, what technology are they using for these drones? Okay, this is going to sound wild. And I'm doing this reading to avoid the wildness and the craziness of my last one, but this is getting crazy too. There is a push with the World and the Death card towards a new world order. There is a push towards that. The technology that's being used with the hangman upside down and with the Empress, it's sort of something that, and this message is a bit shaky in that I am looking for the confirmation, but they're not giving me that much confirmation. But it's as if it's advanced technology with the Hierophant upside down. It's advanced technology, and it may be a combination of using DNA technology, like alien technology as well. That's what I'm picking up here. Because this has come up next to the Hermit energy, meaning, you know, the Hermit being on top of a mountain, being in isolation. So it's information or it's technology that people don't really know about, that they're being used to successfully do this. I'm particularly seeing that as well with, notice the angel background, the angel in background, that's representing just beings that are not of this planet. That's how it's being represented here. And again, we have the duality of the sun and the moon, male and female. We have that duality. We have that two. That's constantly being a theme here. Even with the Chariot card, we have that two. And that's what came up in my other reading as well. It was consistently this two. Two things can be true at the same time. Us as a collective need to make a decision as to which path we're going down. Are we ready? In a way, we're being tested, right? But I think what's happening and what we are going through now is that whether we like it or not, the world as we know it, notice a 3 here and a 3 here, the world as we know it is undergoing that change. Oh my God, we have another 3 here with the world. 2 and a 1 comes to 3. We have a 3 here, we have a 3 here. Like the world as we know it is undergoing a change with the Death card. To be changed, to be rebirthed, to become anew with. I feel that this is inevitably coming. However, I think this new world order that they're introducing with the drones, I think it is Project Bluebeam, but it's not Project Bluebeam at the same time. I think Project Bluebeam is the closest that we could get to what this is. In my other reading, I think the version 2 of this will go into much more detail as to the reason why this is happening, as to the reason why it's happening now. So my version 2 will go into that more. So what I would do, I'll link this as a version 1, and you guys could go, because what are we on? Yeah, while it's not running on for too long, I'll link this as a version 1, and then you guys could go and watch the version 2, and that is where we go into a lot more detail. For the version 2, I'll put the timestamp down, so you don't need to listen to my explanation and everything again. But it's like we as a society, as a collective, we are on the precipice. We have a choice to make as to which timeline we want to go down. Now, when I'm talking about timelines, I'll say this really quickly, because the United States at least, was faced with a similar decision when it came to timelines as well, when it came to whether to vote for Kamala, whether to vote for Trump. Like, we were on the timeline, leading up to your elections in November, we were on the timeline where we were going to have the first female president, right? However, the collective decided not to go with that and voted Trump. So by collectively doing that, placed themselves on a different timeline. Unbeknownst to us, we are in, what I'm picking up on is that we are in the same position again, where we are being introduced with the 2 timelines again, but they're not positioning it to us as if it's 2 timelines, because they want us to make a choice as to which path we go down. So it's a test of the collective. The test being that there's a new world order that is coming through. But what I'm seeing with this new world order, the way it's being presented with the drones, it's as if it's technology that's been taken, that's been manipulated with, and when I say the powers that be, the powers behind the veil, who are looking to make their presence known and their presence felt, like they're emerging from the shadows now. So a lot of the collapsing of the institutions that we're seeing, you know, whether it's pharmaceutical, whether it's entertainment, whether it's whatever, we're seeing a collapse of a lot of those. And it's as if that collapse, for the general elevation and awakening of the collective, it's as if these people want to ride the wave of that. It's like what is it? You know what phrase they're giving me? They're giving me the Empire Strikes Back. You know, it's like wanting to put everyone back in their box. So I'm seeing these drones and so on as being nefarious. Nefarious from the perspective of wanting to instill fear in us. It's bringing in technologies and so on that we may not be familiar with in order to instill fear and that control. So I'm going to end this now. Go to this. Now, having said this, this would make the version 2 make more sense, because I didn't pick up on all of this with my version 2, but it would make more sense. Okay, so I'll see you guys in version 2. Bye.